We told you a couple weeks ago we were going to enjoy the win over Carolina because you never know what's going to happen the rest of the year. So what has changed? The answer is nothing. Hey, Chicken Little, get your head up. I know you don't want to believe it, but the team you saw play yesterday in the Superdome was the same one that played in Charlotte, and it will be the same one you see in Miami next week. Oh, except for maybe a certain kicker. More on that coming up. And, of course, we'll talk about Tulane's dominating performance in Philly over Temple to remain in contention for college football playoffs' coveted 12th spot. So let's begin the – oh, wait, what? Oh, yeah, LSU. Yeah, we'll talk about LSU. Did they play Saturday? Oh, they showed up, which was only barely good enough to beat Western Kentucky. So let's have some fun and start this thing we call – the Dattitude Podcast.
If you're looking for the latest scoop and in-depth interviews on the Saints, the NFL, the Pelicans, LSU, along with the best bets of the week, then lucky you. Along with high-powered, in-the-know guests who cover our teams, Jim Derry brings plenty of Dattitude. And he'll always tell you the way it is. Or at least the way he thinks it is.
Where you at, Dattitude family? I know. It was not the greatest sports weekend for us, but we have had quite a few of these this season. You think we'd be getting used to it by now, right? I don't know. We'll all be okay, and we'll all be okay together on Dattitude, episode number 442, presented by Evangeline Securities for a Monday, November the 24th, 2025. Who is this guy talking on my cellular device or my iPad or computer, whatever the hell you watch? TV. Some of you even watch on the big screen TV. That's so nice. I'm Jim Derry, 35 years on the New Orleans sports media scene. I thank you for being a part of the Dat family on this Monday morning. Don't worry. It's not going to be all boo-hoo. But we are going to tell you reality, okay? We are going to talk about reality. That's what we do here on this show. What else is special about the show? Well, today is Mano E Monday. Today is my favorite show of the week, okay? I'm not saying the other ones I don't enjoy because I enjoy the pick'em. I enjoy interviews on Wednesday and whoever we're going to talk to and everything we do. But today is my most fun day of the year because I get to talk to you and you talk back. That's what we do for an hour and a half or an hour and 45 or whatever it takes. Whenever you have run out of comments and questions, that's when we go bye-bye. That's what we do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, live at 11 a.m. Central Time, including this week on this holiday week. We will be here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, barring something unforeseen. And I don't see anything unforeseen. How could I? I am not Nostradamus. No, I'm Jim Derry. You can get in touch with me on X at Jim Derry Jr., and you can find me if you want to email me, which some people have. I guess some people felt like they just needed to release Jim at jimderry.com. And if you haven't done so, please, as you see on the screen, please subscribe to the podcast. Again, so you click the little bell, give us the like, all that good stuff. All right, what is on today's show? You know what is on today's show. What are we going to talk about on this Monday? We're going to talk about the New Orleans Saints and their 24-10 loss to the Atlanta Falcons. I was there in the Dome yesterday. I was at the post-game press conference, which I streamed here on YouTube. I guess, judging by the attendance, you didn't notice. Yeah, okay. I was just saying if anyone wanted to see that, and apparently not too many people cared. I don't know. Was it because of a loss? I mean, I don't know. We're going to talk about Kellen Moore. We're going to talk about Taysom Hill. We're going to talk about Tyler Shuck. We're going to talk about, oh, yeah, the breaking news in just a minute. LSU coming up. Man, you want to talk about a no-show. That might be the least impressive win in school history, or at least in my lifetime as far as I can remember. That was the most you deserve to lose kind of game I've ever seen in my life. 13-10 over Western Kentucky. And they just didn't show up. It looks like they've cashed in. Now, I hope that if they play like that on Saturday in Norman, I don't understand the spread. So somebody knows something I don't. Because if they play like they played this past Saturday night in Norman, Oklahoma, they're going to get their ass waxed. Okay. Oklahoma's playing to get in the playoffs, and LSU's playing like they want to go, like half the team wants to go to the transfer portal and go elsewhere. That's coming up. Tulane still in control of their own destiny. They have 2 games remaining. They are 30.5 point favorites over Charlotte, a same Charlotte team that, Gabe correctly predicted they would cover against Georgia. That's about all they did because they just showed up. And hopefully for Tulane fans, they'll just show up Saturday and Tulane will get their win and they'll move on to the Marin Conference Championship game, and they will play at home, I believe, a week from this Friday is that game. And that would be against North Texas, I believe. All right, we'll talk about that. So all that coming up. Before I get to the breaking news, I also would like to tell, especially all my regulars, if you are free tomorrow on Tuesday afternoon at 4 o'clock, from 4 to 6, I will be doing the Eric Asher show. I will be guest hosting for Eric. I don't know if he's on vacation or if he's just off this week or if he can't do it tomorrow, whatever it is. I am guest hosting tomorrow. So tomorrow, the guest will be, who are they? Sean Fazand is one of the, I'm forgetting already. Sean Fazand is one of the guests. He's on at 4:30, and I can't remember who the other one is. It's from Mike Scarborough from Tiger Bait is also a guest. So we'll be talking about Saints. We'll be talking about LSU, Tulane, and we will talk way more about the Pelicans in that show than we'll talk about here today. I'm not going to really talk about the Pelicans a lot today. So anyway, if anyone's free from 4 to 6, I would love to have some callers. The number for the show on the ticket, 106.7, 4 to 6 p.m. tomorrow. You can also find it online. I will have it on my Twitter feed. Go find me at Derry Jr. You can find on my Twitter feed, and I will give you a link to listen to the show. You can call in. Remember this number. I should have put it on the screen, but it's 504-260-1067, 504-260-1067 tomorrow, 4 to 6 on Tuesday. All right. Breaking news. This one's not even, I don't even want to give the dude. I mean, this is not good, y'all. This is not good. I know y'all hate, and I'm going to get to the comments in just a minute, I promise. We're going to do the comments in Derry's Dime coming up. I have a interesting dime. We'll talk about it. Breaking news this morning, the Saints are trying out, and this has come from all over Twitter. This is multiple sources. I know Underhill reported it. The people at the NFL Network reported it. Ross Tucker reported it. All sorts of people have reported this, so it's definitely happened. The Saints are going to either have tried out or they're going to try out Justin Tucker at kicker and Cade York. Cade York, sorry, former LSU kicker Cade. Why in the world? I'm not diving into. I can't do it today. I just can't do it today. Why in the holy hell would the Saints dive into those weeds? Why would they contemplate bringing in Justin Tucker for any reason with all the issues? You're 2-9. You don't have enough problems. Seriously. You don't have enough problems at 2-9. You need to bring in Justin. I'd much rather stick with Groupie. I know y'all hate Groupie. I get it. Groupie won't be the kicker next year. You know what the Saints record would be if, I don't know, who's the best kicker in the league? Brandon Aubrey from Dallas. Bring back Morton Anderson. The powers of the time machine have brought back Morton Anderson in his prime to the New Orleans Saints. You know what the Saints record would be right now if they had Morton Anderson in his prime right now? 2-9. They'd still be 2-9. So Blake Groupie sucks. I get it. I'm sick of him too. I didn't like Blake Groupie before. I've never been a fan of Blake Groupie. Sorry. I think he's a nice kid. But he's not an NFL kicker. He was doing so great in the preseason or whatever it was. In camp, he only missed one kick. So what? He had a really good season last year. Who cares? I've never been a fan of Blake Groupie's. I never thought he was like today's kind of kicker. Anyway, that aside, you get 2-9. Who cares who your kicker is? I mean, why wouldn't you just sign Charlie Smith off the practice squad? You're not going to find the kicker of the future on the waiver wire. Don't get me started. But Justin Tucker, He was reinstated November 11th, 10-game suspension. If you don't know the story, Justin Tucker, then you just haven't been paying attention. That's okay. He was suspended 10 games for violation of the league's personal conduct policy. He allegedly engaged in sexually inappropriate behavior during massage sessions. Well, we heard that before. Anyway, I can't do that today. So I'm just letting you know. I'm the Saints. Should they bring up another kicker? Should they use another kicker? Sure, whatever makes you happy. Sure, go get another kicker. But why wouldn't you use the one you have? If he's sitting on your practice squad, if he's good enough to like sit on the practice squad for 2 years, he's good enough to give a tryout at 2-9. At least see what the kid has. Why are you trying out kicker? Who cares? I don't get it. Anyway, I'm sure it'll come up again. Comments are coming up in a minute. Last thing here. This I don't know. Just it bothers me. You know what? I'm gonna go to the comment stream because I want to get to the dime in a minute. Who do we have here this morning? I am bracing myself. I got to do this about once a month before we go with Mano E Monday. If you're new to the show, by the way, what is Mano E Monday? Mano E Monday is we don't have a guest. It's just me. It's you. We're talking. Gabe will come on later on and he'll share his thoughts. I have no idea what Gabe wants to talk. You might want to talk about LSU. Might want to talk about the Saints. Who knows? But we will also have our Monday Night Football prediction later at the end of the show. So Gabe will be here later. Anyway, before I get started, let me pull an Aaron Rodgers. Y'all know what I think about Aaron Rodgers. But, I'm going to channel my inner Aaron Rodgers. I have no idea because I think it's going to be that kind of show. Woosah. All right, here we go. Comments. Cedric Bolo. Good morning with the Saints. I'm just looking forward to next year, but the Pelicans, Queen, in fear of future players, Pelicans have $500 million just sitting on the bench injured. I thought Zion is back. Zion played the other night. Is he hurt again? Did I miss it? I think he's back. I'm got to be honest. We got too many important things to talk about. I'm not talking about the Pelicans today. If they come up in a comment, great, but I didn't make a slide for them. Just not talking about them. They're not worth my time. Gabe says he does not want to talk about LSU, by the way. Well, you can talk about whatever you want. Apathy says that was without a shadow of doubt the worst red zone play calling I have ever witnessed. You can't scheme open your 6'4" tight end or 6'5" wide receiver out to smaller defensive backs in the end zone. Horrible. Oh, yeah. That's part of the dime. That is part of the dime. He also says the entire mantra of these handful of games left was to evaluate Tyler Shuck in the every game situation imaginable, not to take him off the field and throw in a washed-up Taysom Hill. Couldn't agree more. Apathy, we don't always agree, but I absolutely agree with you on that one. And by the way, coming up, clips from Kellen Moore and the dime is going to focus partly on, it's going to be kind of what the crowd is today, a little manic. Okay. My dime is a little manic, but I'm trying to be as even keeled as possible. It's hard not to be. I'm going to give you the positives and the negatives because there are positives. Okay. But one of the negatives is got to be Kellen Moore. And look, you cannot continue to sound like Dennis Allen because honestly, at his press conferences, quit with the monotone coach speak bullshit. Okay. I just can't listen to this. It's anyway, clip coming up from that. And how he basically says nothing. Oh, we got to get better. Maybe I'll do this later in the week. Maybe I'll use AI or something. You think AI can do a cartoon of Dennis Allen giving Kellen Moore tips on coaching? That would be a funny cartoon. We got to work on this. Gabe, help me out with this. We got to find out ways to do this. Dennis Allen and Kellen Moore, they could have their own show here on Dattitude. Oh, that's coming. I got to figure out how to do this because they sound like the same dude. Now, look, I'm giving Kellen Moore the benefit of the doubt right now because, again, he's only, 36, 30, whatever he is, 37. I don't care. He's young. It's his first season. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. But it ain't going to last long if he doesn't start. That was horrendous coaching in the red zone yesterday. Oh, again, that's coming up. A-Town says, good morning. Every time the Saints team wears those black helmets, they play abysmal. It's a sad but true. They're 2-9. They play abysmal almost every time they wear any helmet. Sorry. We're not blaming helmets today. I really enjoy. I like that uniform. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the white. I think I like the all white. I don't want to wear the all white at home anyway, but I like the all white with the white helmet for the color rush. I wish they would make that their regular road uniform, but I like the black helmet. I'm a fan. Kyle Sherman says, good morning, Dattitudinals. Kellen might need to hire a real OC. Worst play calling I've seen since Carl Smith. Again, we're getting into it. Y'all are jumping ahead of me. Charles Mangus says, good morning. All four Louisiana. There's a lot more than 4 Louisiana sports teams, Charles. Just saying. Only 2 won. Actually, Tulane won. I don't count LSU. It's a disgrace. Yeah, there's a lot more than 4 teams. Slow Hoodat. Good morning. I know that Drew Brees was at the game, and I wonder what he had to say, if anything. Happy Thanksgiving to all Hoodats from S Local. I'll say this, S Local. First of all, absolutely happy Thanksgiving. We've got one more show before Thanksgiving, so I guess I got another chance to say it. But, yeah. I asked this question in the press box yesterday, Zach and Rod Walker. When's the last time the Saints won with Drew Brees in the building, not wearing a jersey? I don't remember. And I haven't heard it. I have not had a chance to go get the replay. So Charles says he calls a good game. I don't know. We'll see. I'll go back and watch it anyway. Gabe says, by the way, that Kellen Moore is the most cookie cutter vanilla guy imaginable. He has no personality. I hope it's just he's trying to figure out his way. But man, I'm not saying maybe I was listening to I don't do this often, but coming home last night, I listened to the WWL postgame show. And one thing Bobby said was true. And he's like, we don't know. He wants to know who Kellen Moore is, and so do I. I mean, we hope behind the scenes he's more of you don't have to be a rah-rah guy, okay? At least not in public. But you got to have more emotion than I've seen so far. He has no emotion. One smoke says Kellen seems like a bot. It's worse than that. Gary Ballion says, good morning. Field goal kicker as the guy. I don't give a rat. I mean, I'm sorry, Gally. I don't care. Missed field goal, stop my moment. I'm going to say this again in case you just joined us. Blake Groupie goes, fine. Blake Groupie doesn't go, I don't care. He is like problem number 10 on the priority list, maybe 12. There will be a new Saints kicker, if not this week, and it looks like it's going to be this week. But even if not this week, the Saints have so many more pressing problems than Blake Groupie, who we know sucked. And I'm going to say this. The Saints are 2-9. What would they be if they had the best kicker on planet Earth? They'd still be 2-9. So, yeah, Blake Groupie sucks. If he goes, I'm not going to be sad. But got bigger fish to fry. UBN's here. Good morning. He thinks Taysom Hill just ran up the middle for a half a yard. I wish you would have ran up the middle on 4th and 1 instead of throwing the ball. Again, that clip's coming up and it's coming up in my dime. I don't think Taysom appreciated my question. Just gonna say that. I had a question about that 4th down play. I don't think he loved it. Again, coming up. Jason Benson, good morning, Who Dat Nation. Oh no, we suck again. I gotta get that clip, huh? We gotta go find that. I gotta find that clip. Larry Gibson, please tell me y'all saw when ABC aired the part of Brian Kelly's son showing the shirt. Yeah, we saw it, unfortunately. Who cares? I mean, we make so much out of nothing. Seriously. Brian Kelly, I say Drew Brees is gone, he's never coming back. Here's a thank God. Brian Kelly's gone and he's never coming back. Just let it go. William Shuck got the Saints into the red zone 9 times. I don't think it was 9 times. I'm almost positive it was not 9. No, it was. I don't know what game you were watching, William. He got him in the red zone 3 times. They were 0 for 3 in the red zone. 3. Let's not make stuff up. Okay. It's not his fault. Groovy can't make it. All right. Let's don't love all over Tyler Shuck. Okay. We see the numbers on the screen. Was Tyler Shuck? He was okay. He was just okay. That's again, more coming up. More coming up. It's okay. Just okay. Don't the same as I'm going to tell you, William, the same that I told the Rattler lovers when they would like be pumping up Rattler and he didn't deserve to be pumped up. Let's don't pump up. Tyler Shuck was fine. He was okay. Yeah, more coming up in the coming up. I'm not showing trolling comments today, Mark. I'll show this one because I don't think you're trolling here, but I'm not showing the other ones. Hire Justin Tucker as new kicker. We hired Jameis Winston after he assaulted that Uber driver. Why not? Second chances happen. Everyone deserves a second chance. Tucker does too. I'm all about second chances. Just not with my team. Not with this. That's different. Why is it different than Jameis? I don't know. Let me think about it for a little bit. But the Saints are 2-9. Again, I don't want to be diving into the weeds into Justin Tucker. But why? Why would you sign? It just doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. What else we got here? Brian S. Steve, good morning. The Saints' interior offensive line, it makes it tough to accurately evaluate the rest of the offense. We can't run, and Shuck has limited time to pass. I mean, he threw it 43 times, and he completed 30 of them. Saying. I don't know. All right. I got to get to the Dom here. Let me show you a few more comments. I'm going to run through mostly people who haven't clicked on yet. Jody Alexander. Good morning, everyone. ESPN's Kat Terrell, formerly of the Times-Picayune, is reporting. Yeah, we have reported that. Yep. It's not just Kat Terrell. There are about 18 people on social media saying it. But I appreciate that, Jody. Yep, I'm not a fan. I'd rather they didn't. Again, a whole different story. Gumbo Boy says, as Zach said in postgame, the Saints are just a bad team. We're one of the least talented teams in the NFL with no consistent playmakers. They're not the worst team in the league. Chad Gage may have to jump off early, but he'll listen to it later. Using Taysom Hill in the red zone. Coming up. Ovide Kibido. Good morning. Who dat? He's still who dat? You should be. Hey, bro, says, good morning. Saints' early futility wasn't due to Rattler. Not saying he's any better than Chuck. When they announced the starting O-line lineup, I knew we were in for a long day. Okay. Brandon Kraft. Smith has a big league. Give him a shot. A big leg, you mean? Yeah. Absolutely. That's what I mean. Bring him in. Good morning, S. Callie. Mark Gapsky said, good morning. Red zone play is tough to watch. Enough with Taysom Hill. Let Tyler Shuck develop. I'm starting to lose faith in Kellen Moore. I understand why. Dylan Smith, he had that feeling. Beating was coming. Anyway, who dat? I think one person, maybe two. UBN predicted the Saints to lose. I predicted the Saints to lose, and maybe one of y'all did. Everybody else predicted the Saints to win. Just saying. Quo Vadis is here. Good morning. Do we have to spend top draft picks on the O-line again? Ugh. I'm not ready to say that, but maybe. Especially if they were to trade back and get 2 first-round picks. That would be nice, wouldn't it? I know it ain't going to happen. It's a pipe dream. Paul Laporte says, in the words of Sean Payton, I've seen enough. Ron Hendrickson. Now that the Saints organization has admitted the club is in rebuild mode, Moore and his offensive coordinator look like they are more interested in tinkering with dumb plays with a shell of himself, Taysom Hill. I don't get it. Jason Benson, our offensive line consists of 3 backups and Cesar Ruiz. What did you expect? I told you I expected them to lose. They lost. Barry Ulay. Don't mention, but it's time for all to admit Zion is a bust. At best, he will be forever the 6th man off the bench. That's a little ridiculous. He's not a 6th man. Can you call him a bust? Sure. Considering where he was drafted and all the hype, sure, you can call him a bust. One Smoke says, at least we're still going to have a top 5 pick. I don't agree. I don't think the Saints will have a top 5 pick. I still think they're going to pick outside of the top 5. Lewis Jacobs said 2-9. That is a bad O-line. Sean is here. Good morning, Sean. He didn't see Shuck as the issue. Play calling by Moore changed the dynamic of the game in a major way. Absolutely it did. Rainy Cajun, good morning. Happy Thanksgiving week. Turkey time. All right. My friend Andy Canulet is here. Kellen is in shock. He couldn't have imagined his first team as a head coach would be this bad. I don't think anyone could, right? All right, it's time for the dime. In case you're wondering, what is Derry's dime and why am I going to listen to it? It's basically the only scripted part I have all week, and it's my scripted commentary a la Jim Henderson and Jeff Duncan, although I could never be those guys. I could serve them coffee, they asked. But anyway, I do my best Jeff Duncan and Jim Henderson imitation here, and my thoughts, my scripted thoughts on the game, and they're pretty simple. Today. Here we go. Sure was. It's fun 2 weeks for Saints fans, wasn't it? With just one divisional victory on the road, the predictions went from 2 or 3 wins to, hey, I think they might win 6 or 7. They're definitely going to beat Atlanta, Carolina again, and the Jets and the Titans. Maybe they'll even beat Atlanta. They might even finish 8-9. I actually heard that. That's not made up. I actually heard that. Don't chuckle. That was you that said that. Oh, yeah, you back there. I see you trying to sulk below the crowd. You can't hide. Today, we're back to reality. But here's the thing. There's no reason to be pissed off. The offensive line is terrible. Kellen Moore is in over his head. Blake Groupie sucks. I can't tell if Tyler Shuck is any good or not. Alvin Kamara is all washed up. I don't know if Alante Taylor and Kool-Aid are going to be the future. All those things are true, and guess what? They were just as true 2 weeks ago after a 17-7 win in Carolina as they are following a 24-10 loss to the hated Dirty Birds. No one should be manic depressive over these New Orleans Saints. I see the same people who were excited and hopeful of the future texting and emailing and DMing me yesterday how pissed off they were. What did you expect? You think all of a sudden a rookie head coach figured everything out and his rookie quarterback with 10 quarters under his belt before yesterday? Well, they were ready to immediately change the future of a franchise that is still quite a climb back to even the level of football purgatory? Come on, man. Think about it for a moment. There are thousands and thousands of Cleveland Browns. Yes, he's bringing that up. There are thousands and thousands of Cleveland Browns fans who are waking up this morning thinking that Shedeur Sanders is the future of their franchise and saying, I told you so. They are thinking that he will lead them out of the abyss and that they are well on their way to a playoff run next season. All because they beat up on a Las Vegas Raiders team that just might be the worst in the NFL at the moment. If I were a Browns fan, I would revel in the moment too. But I wouldn't hate the world next Sunday when they get their asses whipped by the 49ers next week either. It's not much different here. Overall in life, if you're an optimist, there are reasons for hope. And yesterday changes nothing. Start with the defense. Sure, they allowed 24 points to an Atlanta team that was without their starting quarterback and best receiver in Drake London. But they held one of the most talented running backs in the NFL in Bijan Robinson to 70 yards rushing. And the backup quarterback is in the middle of a $180 million contract. He didn't even pass for 200 yards. In fact, the yardage each team gained was nearly identical. Atlanta had 302 yards to the Saints 293. Meanwhile, Shuck continued to show signs that he could, and again, I stress could, be the future at quarterback for this team. Wouldn't it be nice if the Saints didn't have to draft a quarterback in the first round of next year's draft? For just the 5th time since Drew Brees left, a quarterback completed 30 passes in a game. He's able to throw well on the move, and his instincts are much better than I thought they'd be. Devon Valet and Mason Tipton, they took strides toward potentially being starting receivers in this league. Devin Neal touched the ball 12 times with 61 yards of total offense. Could he be a real running back for this football team? We're going to find out. For the pessimists, though, there were just as many worrisome moments. Alvin Kamara, well, he very well might have played his final down for the New Orleans Saints. If this injury is even semi-serious, why come back? Yes, I understand there's another year in his contract, but that needs to be eliminated. Sorry, he's just not part of the future. Speaking of not part of the future, it's also possible, and many of you hope likely, that Blake Grupe played his final game for the New Orleans Saints. Almost certainly the team will have a new kicker in 2026. Almost certainly. Maybe it's even beyond almost certainly now. But most importantly, Kellen Moore looked completely lost at times. He got completely outcoached by a dead man walking. Where have we heard this before? Down 16-7 coming out of the locker room to start the third quarter. The Saints went on a 15-play, 74-yard drive that literally ate up half of the third quarter clock, and they scored 0.0 points. The play calling from inside the 5 was absolutely atrocious. Taysom Hill laughed. He laughed at me when I asked him if the play on fourth down from the 1 was a design play. You know, the one where he threw the ball. Why the hell was he throwing the ball there?
Jason, talk about the fourth down play. Was that a design pass, or was that something you decided that?
I did not decide to just throw that on my own. Yeah, it was a design pass play. I mean, look, there's no secret, right? When I'm at quarterback, we run the ball a lot, and we've done different things throughout the course of my career, and we were counting on a heavy box, and look, they made a good play, and we were trying to sneak Bailey out to the corner, and they made a good play.
On the very next drive, the Saints went on a 15-play drive that chewed up even more time. A whopping 8 minutes and 24 seconds did the Saints score a touchdown? No, of course not. It ended in a field goal. Oh, Blake Grupe made that one, by the way. 3 plays later, Kirk Cousins found former Tulane wideout Darnell Mooney for 49 yards and a touchdown, and the dome began to part like the Red and Black Sea. All of those things, the good and the bad, they're all part of this team's reality. Is there enough there to even keep even the die-hardiest of die-hard fans optimistic on the future? I don't know. As a realist, I don't really feel any better or worse than I did about these New Orleans Saints than I did before the game started. Major changes, well, they need to be made when this season is over. How many of them will this team actually make? Your guess is as good as mine. But the overall realistic goal of this season is still intact, you manic depressives. What is that goal? It's to be better in week 18 than you were in week 1. It's not sexy. It's not a fun goal to have. We're not all going to be doing cartwheels in our front lawns if they hit it, but it would be a start. And considering rock bottom was only just a few short weeks ago, it's something. Something, my friends, is always better than nothing. And that's my dime. Look, was it fun? No. I mean, yesterday was not fun. If you went to the Dome, look, the Dome was as loud on Sunday as I've heard it, and I tweeted this out in multiple years. I don't remember the last time the Dome was that loud. I don't know if it was that loud when the Saints whipped up on Carolina last year in the home opener. I don't think it was. I mean, I go back to, maybe when the Saints were in a playoff run a couple of years ago, maybe. I don't know. It was fun before the game, and then it changed. It obviously changed and went along. You see the stats, and if you can't see the stats on the screen here, if you're listening after the fact or whatever, Chuck 30 of 43 again. Just the fifth Saint, or the fifth. I shouldn't say the fifth Saint. The fifth time since Drew Brees left 5 years ago that a quarterback has completed 30 passes in a game. We already told you, what was it? The last game when the Saints won, he threw for 283 yards or whatever. It was the first time in 29 games that a Saints quarterback had thrown for 280 plus yards. They only threw for 243. Is that great? No. There were things to be happy about. One Smoke says, Shuck's pocket mobility is impressive, though he thought he was bad at that coming out of the draft. I mean, look, there were things that Shuck showed me yesterday that I didn't think. A couple of moves, and we've seen he's lucky he only had. It's funny because the one interception that he had, it was a desperation throw at the end of the game, and it really, it counts against his number. But in the grand scheme of things, he deserved that interception because there were a couple other times that Olave bailed him out on two separate occasions. One where he was playing defensive back and had to knock the ball away. So he deserved the interception in the grand scheme of things. But the Saints had 21 first downs. The Falcons only had 13 yesterday. If you look through some of these stats, third down efficiency. Were the Saints great? No, they were 5 of 16. That's not great. The Falcons were 3 of 12. I thought the Saints defense played pretty well. And again, I thought Shuck played okay. Another bright side, as bad as the O-line was, the Saints only committed 4 penalties yesterday. What I'm saying is, there are so many people who are, and I keep using the word manic depressive because this is what it's like. These same, think about it. All the people, and I know it takes away all the optimism that you gained after the Carolina game. This team is the same team. What did they mess up on? What did they slip up on? Think about it. Atlanta came into this game super desperate. And I said this on Friday. They're going to play one of two ways. They were going to fight for Raheem Morris, knowing that one more loss and he might get canned in the middle of the season. They might be fighting for their coach's job, or they were just going to lay down and die. And I didn't think they were going to lay down and die. And they didn't. The Falcons still aren't a great team, but they showed you reasons why people thought they would be a good team. I mean, Bijan Robinson, seriously, at this point in time today, I don't know if he's the best running back in football, but he's in the top 5. And they have a 1-2 punch. I mean, Tyler Algiel's a good, even without Drake London yesterday. You keep forgetting that Kirk Cousins, he's the backup quarterback, but he was the backup quarterback they signed to a $160 million deal. I don't know, man. Who Dat Daddy says, welcome back, by the way. I haven't seen a little bit. He says he thinks our quarterbacks are better than the O-line is letting them be. I mean, it's hard not to be. Dylan Radins was terrible yesterday at left guard. Cesar Ruiz, I don't even know what to say about him. I mean, I can't keep saying I can't keep saying the same thing. The offensive line was terrible. I mean, Richards was playing right tackle. He was okay. I didn't notice Kelvin Banks doing anything special or bad, so I guess he was okay. And Luke Fortner's fine. He's no Eric McCoy. They miss Eric McCoy. But the two guards were absolutely horrendous. I did notice just how bad they were. Ryan Eshe is here. Good morning. Yesterday was the same game we've seen all year. It sure was. Brandon Kraft says the issue is taking the quarterback out to run an obvious quarterback power with 35-year-old Taysom on 2 bum knees. I just don't get. It's like Taysom is being forced into the game at different times. Even as much as Sean Payton loved Taysom, when Taysom was good and had good knees, and he talked about his knees later, and the Cat Terrell asked him about his knees, and he says he feels much better than he felt a month ago when he first came back. But you can tell he's not right. He's telling himself he's not right. Why are you forcing the issue with Taysom Hill, who is not part of your future? I don't remember. I think it was after you said earlier. Why are you forcing a Taysom Hill when the whole point of this season really now at 2-9 and really before 2-9 was to see what your quarterback could do, especially in the red zone. What are you going to do when Taysom Hill's gone? Probably after this year. You would think. Although I've been wrong about Taysom. Who knows? Maybe Taysom Hill will still be playing at 50. I don't know. But he shouldn't be part of your future is the real point. Why do you continue to throw him in there when you don't have to? I don't get it. Good morning, infantryman, Nola man. You sold your tickets for more than half of what you paid. Well, that's a plus, right? Bart Prudhomme says when you put Hill in as quarterback alone, Atlanta knew what the play was. I don't know if you're talking about the play that I'm talking about. Look, I get what the Saints were trying to do. The point is, I don't care if they know what we're going to do. Don't try to be cute. If you're going to use Taysom, What is Taysom Hill good for? Taysom Hill is good for plowing it up the middle. If you're going to use him, which I wish you wouldn't, but if you, and look, I get it. Yesterday, you lost Alvin Kamara, you had Devin Neal, you didn't have another running back. You kind of had to use him at certain spots as a running back. That's fine. But using the plow up the middle, that's what he's good for. Musette Hood's here. Good morning. Ready to see the start of the rebuild. I think we've been seeing it for a while now. Jimmy B's here. Why hasn't Kroger, the punter, received the same criticism in groupie? Good point. I don't know. He's inconsistent, and his drops usually short, hitting closer to the ankle, leading to the short punts that we're seeing. That's a good question, because in the grand scheme of things, I think all know that he's not going to be the punter next year. So kind of who cares? I mean, that's kind of where I am with both kickers, the punter and the kicker. I don't care. I know this. I don't want Justin Tucker here. Other than that, I don't care. They want to bring in Cade York? Sure, okay, whatever. But, I mean, my suggestion would be, if you're going to get rid of Groupie, bring in the guy you already have. Why wouldn't you let him try? Again, what are you doing? You're 2-9. Who cares? Who cares who the kicker is? I heard more crap about the kicker yesterday. It was amazing. I mean, yes, we all know Blake Groupie sucks. It's not breaking news. It's not, who cares? Tom, good morning. Embrace the suck. I've been saying that. How long have I been saying that? Embrace the suck. I did a short on that. Go find it from before the season. By the way, the shorts have been doing pretty well lately. I'm glad y'all are paying attention. Brian Cavett, happy Thanksgiving week. Man, that was bad. But it's just reality. 4 wins before the season was his number. It never moved. Are you sure it never moved? Brian, are you sure? Are you going to make me go pick out the drawer for the receipts? Are you sure? Well, I thought you were one of them. There were a lot of people that I don't think they're going to win 5, 6, 7 games now. Are you sure? I'll take your word for it. One smoke says Tipton not it, not fall. I don't know. I think Tipton could be. Now, look, I mean, what are you expecting? I'm going to say this. By the way, y'all were right when you were talking about Brandon Cooks and how they, you're pissed off at the administration for not trading Brandon Cooks. Maybe they couldn't get anything for Brandon Cooks. You realize no one's rushing out to sign him after he got cut? Just saying. So maybe they couldn't get anything for him. And when they realized they couldn't get anything for him, they're like, you know what? He doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild process. Well, why did he come here? What did he think he was going to get here? Come on, man. Just saying, sorry. There's a little tickle in my throat. I'm sorry I keep drinking water. I kind of have to this morning. Bart says he loves Drew, but no more calling Saints games since we haven't won a game anytime Drew calls a game. They're 2-9. They've lost 9 games. No, I mean, it's not just Drew. I mean, I did make fun of them earlier. When's the last time they won with Drew Brees in the building not wearing a uniform? I think it was somebody told me that he was at the Atlanta game last year, or he was at one of those games that Rizzy won last year. I don't know. But I can tell you the Saints record when Drew Brees is here is bad, but still. I think whoever calls the Saints game this year, they're 2-9 when Mike Hoss calls the game this year. Just saying. Doesn't have anything to do with Mike Hoss or Drew Brees. What else? Rocky's late, but Rocky's here. Groupie is, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but he's fitting in with the poo-poo squad. Yeah. He's definitely one of the, when you talk about this team later on and years from now, I guess, remember that really crappy team that went 3-14? That's what they might do. Or 4-13. Remember that really crappy team? Man, they had some really bad players on that team. You're going to start going. That's definitely one of the players you're going to talk about. Rocky also says, is Kellen Moore coaching? I don't think he's coaching scared. I don't think his play calling is coaching scared. I don't think that's what this is. Here again, and that's a perfect segue into this. I got a clip, 1 minute and 12 seconds of Kellen Moore coming up. Here's my biggest problem, and I've told y'all this. I'm telling you, Gabe's going to help me find out. Gabe's young. He knows how to handle AI. I don't know crap about AI. You don't know? We're gonna figure it out. You and I are gonna figure this out. We're going to do that. We're going to find out how to do this. But we're going to make it. I'm telling you, I've been thinking about this for weeks now. I want to have at least a weekly cartoon and something to do with inside the building, or I don't know what it's going to be. It could be different people, and I'm going to write a script and they're going to talk to each other. I'm going to make it clear it's AI, but we got to have Dennis Allen talking to Kellen Moore because I think it's happened. Kellen Moore, I don't want to label him Dennis Allen, but he has that sound. Man, can you get me? I'm not saying you have to like pump me up to, you don't have to pump out your chest or anything and scream and yell and all that, but give me some kind of emotion. Give me something, okay? I need to put the Jim Mora clip so I could just like put it in there and click on it when I want to. But give me something, man. I mean, you're making me want to go to sleep. Like, yeah, we need to do better. I'll let you listen to yourself. But I mean, is this going to inspire anyone? And he goes into talking about his decision to use Taysom. He starts off with his opening comments, and then I didn't play the clips of the part of him talking about Groupie and blah, 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 whatever. I mean, you can tell Groupie's going. But then he gets into the whole Shuck/Taysom thing. But it's like, if this is how he talks in the locker room, I really hope it isn't. But no wonder why the Saints are 2-9. Come on, man. You got to figure it out.
Felt like it was a good week, and we didn't come out and get this one done. Credit to those guys. Those guys coached better, played better, and ultimately executed better than us today. And so, frustrating game. All three phases kind of have different opportunities that obviously we missed. And it's going to be a big opportunity for us to respond the right way and stick together and keep battling. I think always the goal is still to win the football game, and there's plenty of opportunities that obviously Tyler goes through that are hard situations and challenging situations, and there's just plenty of stuff in there that red zone-wise we felt like there would be some good opportunities. Felt like the run game in the +1 situation, there was a lot of evidence to support it would be a positive manner. It didn't come out to our outcome, and so certainly there's more opportunities that we'll have to evaluate Tyler. There's plenty of games that we're going to get to evaluate him in those situations, and that'll be an important part of this process. Yeah, run a lot of direct runs to Taysom at the quarterback position. Felt like there was a play opportunity there, and ultimately that's on me. Didn't work. So, yeah, not good enough. Obviously, we didn't get done on offense. It was choppy. We weren't able to create the flow that we had the previous week against Carolina, and so frustrating. I haven't done a good enough job with this group, and we got to find a way.
We got to find a way. We got to find a way. Apathy. I loathe coach speak. You want to talk about loathing coach speak? As a reporter for 35 years, and let me tell you, coach speak goes way deep. It ain't just pro coaches and college coaches with coach speak. At least, I'm not giving Brian Kelly any props because he needed to go. But you didn't get at least Brian Kelly wouldn't generally give you coach speak. At least, remember, who is better than Les Miles at the podium? Coach O. That's one thing LSU's had. They might have had some, I don't know, it didn't go the way things wanted to go. But think of all the coaches that LSU's had in the recent past. None of those guys get Nick Saban. There ain't no coach speak with Nick Saban. Not usually, anyway. Every now and then. Sometimes. Lane Kiffin, you're right. I'm not a Lane Kiffin fan, but he ain't giving you coach speak. I'm telling you, as someone who has done this for a long time, and I'm telling you, in the high school ranks, there were, and I'm not making this up, there were coaches that I coached. There were coaches that I covered that would trust me, and I am not making this up. I'd go down to court, and they're like, they were ready to run off the field or whatever, and they're like, just make something up. You know what I'd say? I trust you. I am not making this up, because they would say the same crap every game, and it runs deep. I don't know if coaches take a class on coach speak, but you would think, being a former quarterback, he'd get fired up. That's not firing up anybody. It's not making anyone feel confident about, and I guess it's not his job to make the fans feel, well, it kind of is his job. But does anyone feel confident about Kellen Moore listening to that he's going to get better? Because look, I've been high on Kellen Moore. I'm starting to wonder. Again, Is one season ever enough to completely judge a coach? I think when you dive into a coach, unless it's truly awful, and I told you this at the beginning of the season, don't expect anything this season. So you probably can't fire your coach after 1 year, nor should you really. However, man, you got to figure something out because you're not exactly making anybody think that you know what the hell you're doing. That was a perfect example right there, in my opinion. Adam Varner, he's late. That's all right. You're here. Shuck isn't the problem. I don't think anyone's saying Shuck's the problem. He's more accurate than Rattler. We'll see, maybe. Definitely better decision maker. I agree with that. He's a decision maker. But nobody's. I know you're late, but I don't think anyone's said anything bad about Shuck. The only person that said anything bad yesterday, and he's not here today. I'm kind of surprised he's not. There was some guy who couldn't wait to come in. And I'm sorry to bring this up again, but I got to, because I was waiting for someone else to bring it up, and I'm glad that no one else did. We'll be talking about it again later in the week. No, this isn't hate. This is factual. You want to compare? Somebody got pissy yesterday and I couldn't comment because I was recording the Kellen Moore press conference yesterday on YouTube. If you want to go listen to the whole thing, you can find it on the YouTube page. It's there. But somebody commented during the thing, and I guess I'm sure you could find this too. Something along the lines of, Shuck sucks, and see, we told you should have drafted Shedeur Sanders. I'm like, are you joking? You think Shedeur Sanders was good yesterday? I had it on. Any play that was on in the red zone while Shedeur Sanders was quarterbacking, I saw it. He was 11 of 20 for 209 yards. But don't be fooled, y'all. 209 yards. 66 of those 209 yards came on a screen pass to Dylan Sampson that he took down the seam for the only touchdown pass that Shedeur Sanders threw yesterday. So his quarterback rating, because of that touchdown, was 87.3, which is okay. It's certainly better than the 13 or whatever he had last week. But I'll say this. I mean, if you want to compare the quarterbacks from the little bit I've seen, again, I've only seen 6 quarters of Shedeur Sanders, and I've only seen now 14 quarters of Tyler Shuck. But what I've seen, I'll say that I think Tyler Shuck's a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders, and I frankly don't think it's that close. So that's a positive. Again, you're looking for any. I think right now at 2-9, we know what the negatives are. You got to look for some positives. You know, you got to look for some positives. And I think that is a positive. Smoke says there, Mickey's the alpha. Maybe. I don't know that. If you ever listen to one of Mickey's, I mean, look, Mickey's been on the show, and he actually was a really good guest. Had a lot of good things when he was on the show. But I mean, how much do you learn? Mickey's not going to tell you all that much. You got to. I know what y'all think. I'm not getting started there. I'm not trying to get anybody pissed off. Lewis, it's a process. That's his line. Yes, Lewis, it is his line. It's a process. He does use that a while, doesn't he? Apathy says, meanwhile, John Summerall goes to a presser and throws his team under the bus for being average. When did he do that? Why are you going John Summerall? John Summerall is doing the only decent job of any coach in this entire area. We're going to get to Tulane in a minute. Are you kidding? A couple of days ago, I said, Gabe says it threw his team. You know what? Sometimes you need to throw your team under the bus. I got to be honest. I don't have any problem. If it's deserved, put it this way. Did any team deserve to be thrown under the bus more than the LSU Tigers the other night? I mean, Frank Wilson's not going to do it as an interim coach, and he's just happy to get a win at Tiger Stadium. So he's not going to do it. But if I were coaching that team, if I'd been coaching that, let's say Joe Blow was the coach of the LSU Tigers and had been coaching them for 4, would you go to the podium after that performance? You'd blast your team, you'd blast yourself, you'd blast everybody. Sometimes a coach needs to be blasted. Just saying. Jason says, listen to him. How does he inspire anyone? He doesn't. That's the point. Tom says he lived in the Philly area when they fired Andy Reid. Reid's last season in Philly was a lot of coach speak. Kellen Moore sounds a lot like Andy Reid just before he got fired. You want to know part of the problem And he keeps using Taysom. And I think here's what I think Kellen Moore's biggest problem is, besides that he needs to figure out this offseason or whatever. He needs to talk to somebody he's close to that's got some energy and figure out how to bring energy. Maybe not the team, okay? I thought the defense came out inspired. They played inspired yesterday, and honestly, they never really quit. They gave a couple of big plays, but I thought they played well for the most part. But his game planning, man, he's trying to bring what he brought to Philly here. You can't use the same playbook that you used in Philadelphia in New Orleans because you don't have those guys. Taysom Hill is not Jalen Hurts, and he's certainly not Saquon Barkley, okay? Alvin Kamara's not Saquon Barkley, and Taysom Hill's not Jalen Hurts. You can't do that. I mean, so I don't know if he thought that's what was going to be the case when he came here, because it's certainly not the case. I don't know. Rocky says, we need a coach and GM with balls to fix this team. I don't really think Mickey's the guy to rebuild, nor do I think the interest nor the energy is there. I think the energy, I don't agree about the interest. I think if he didn't have any, I'm going to say this. Obviously, you take the good with it. Another thing that Bobby said last night that I agree with. When the Saints were winning, nobody had any problem whatsoever with Mickey Loomis. And if you did, I didn't hear you, so whatever. Okay? I'm going to come back and show you Coach's comment in a minute because I want to talk about this for a second. I'm not defending Mickey Loomis, okay? But he deserves as much credit as he deserves being shit on right now, in my opinion. Oh, it's Peyton and Breeze. Piss off. He brought Peyton here. Peyton helped bring Breeze here. No Mickey Loomis, no Sean Payton, in my opinion. That was as much Mickey Loomis's decision as anything. Mickey Loomis had a tough time holding this thing together. I mean, you got to think, again, Sean Payton left this team high and dry. We just decided out of the blue, I'm just going to leave. Didn't tell anybody I'm leaving. All right? Has he done, I mean, no one's done a worse job with the salary cap than Mickey Loomis. The Saints are in this position right now because of the way this can was kicked down the road 100 times. The rusty old can was kicked, and the Saints are finally coming out of that schneid, and I think they'll be better. But to say that he doesn't have the interest, and I'll put it back up there, you can't say he doesn't. He's 70 or about to be 70 years old. He's either 69 or 70. I can't remember. You can't say the interest isn't there, because if he didn't have the interest, there'd be no reason for him to stay. So I don't agree with that. And as far as the coach, Rock, here's the thing. You commit to, if you're going to hire a young coach, okay, you have to commit to that young coach for a minimum of 2 years, unless the wheels just fall off. And I'll say this again. What did you expect to say? Realistically, what was the best record you thought the Saints could have at this point in time? We're now 11 games into the season. And if you say anything higher than 4-7, you're a liar or pie in the sky, or you're one of those fans. You're riding on the magic carpet when they're flying high, and you're like thinking this team will never win a game ever again. That's manic depressive. That's what I'm telling you not to do. So if you're being a realist, this team is pretty much doing what a realist would think they were going to do. And that being said, you can't fire your coach after you. And I know you're not necessarily asking for the coach to be fired. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But when you hire a young coach, you have to commit to that young coach, again, unless the wheels completely fall off, and they have not. There are things I see that I like about are there more negatives than positives? Of course there are. They're 2-9. But there are certainly positives going forward. You got to give them another chance, even if you don't like it. That's right, UBN. Keep it positive, brother. I mean, sometimes, look, when, I get called Derry Downer all the time. It's a running joke. That's what I used to be called when I'm off a friend Dave DeCorbier's show every week. Derry Downer's here again. Well, I mean, He'd always have me on when the Saints stunk. What are you going to talk about? I mean, you can't just keep saying the same things over and over that they stink, they stink, they stink. There are definitely positives to be found. If they're out there, we're going to find them. Kyle Sherman says, if he loses the team beyond recovery, it could be a short tenure. I don't see that. His flaw right now is trust. He doesn't trust himself or his players in the red zone. I've been saying since the beginning of the season. And when Spencer Rattler was out there, I said the same thing. He never trusted Spencer Rattler to do anything. And it's not quite as bad with Shuck, but why do you keep bringing Taysom Hill in? I think that's one thing he's going to learn. I think he's going to get maybe call me naive, but I think he's going to get away from that. I really do. Sean says the Saints 26 draft needs to be heavy on offense. The defense doesn't seem that far away. I don't necessarily disagree. I don't really disagree with that. I think that you can use a couple defensive playmakers. Look, everybody keeps talking about, look, you got Chase Young here for a while. Granderson's fine. I'm not out. I don't need to go get a pass rusher. What I need, I agree with the Saints need to work on the offense. Where else are we going to go? Kenny, first comment from Kenny Campagna today. Jim, did the Saints stick with Shuck next year and address the draft for other positions that they target a quarterback in the first if one's available? I think that's still TBA, Kenny. But the way I've seen the way I feel about it right now, if it were tomorrow, if this was yesterday was the last game of the season, okay, and I'm glad that look, there's one thing to be positive about. There are more games to see because you get to see 6 more games. Is it 6 more? Yeah, 6 more. 2 road, 2 home, 2 road to finish the season. 6 more games. You get to see if Shuck can develop or not. But if yesterday would have been the last game, I would say don't draft a quarterback. Because realistically, this team is not going to be. They're probably not going to be a playoff team next year. I mean, could they be? Sure. Could they take the step that could they go in the direction that Carolina went? Okay. Carolina, we're going to talk about them in the Monday Night Football pick. Are they likely to win tonight? No, they're 7.5-point underdogs. But Carolina won in Green Bay. Could they win in San Francisco? They could. I don't think they're gonna. But right now, as we sit here today, before the game is played, Carolina and Tampa Bay are tied for the division lead in the NFC South. Carolina has a chance to take the lead in the NFC South with a victory. Think about where Carolina was 2 years ago to last year to now. Now, some people are going to say it's a mirage. Carolina's really not that good. Look, the Saints beat them. Yeah, the Carolina is nowhere near a team that is, let's say, ready to take on anybody. Like if somehow they did win the division and stuck into the playoffs because Tampa's playing terrible right now, and we don't know if Baker's really hurt or not. So we'll have to keep our eye on that. So we don't know what's up with Tampa. But if somehow Carolina were to be able to sneak ahead, does anybody think Carolina would go in the playoffs and win a game? No. But wouldn't you rather be that team? The point is, that could be the path the Saints are on, which means that as soon as next year, the Saints could be, I'm not saying they are, but if you commit to Tyler Shuck, I don't know, does that change the thinking? Lots of ifs, Kenny. But I just think that there's a chance that he could be. It's not something I would have said even a couple of weeks ago. You asked me 2 weeks ago, I said almost 100% in that the future of quarterback is not on this roster. I've said it for most of the year. Am I changing my mind? Maybe. He's done some things now, both in the 2 losses and the victory. Tyler Shuck has done some things that leads me to believe he could, and I stress could, be the future. I really like his pocket presence. I like what the way he throws on the run, I think have been really good. But he also does something. He definitely takes more chances than Spencer Rattler, which is a good and a bad thing. So anyway, Lance, good morning. Glad you're here. Good afternoon now. He says, Moore wasn't our first choice, but he's our coach. He's with us the next 3 years. I don't know about the next 3 years. If you count this year, probably at least 2 more. But is he going to be here again? If let's say they finish 4, let's give him 4 wins, like we've been saying, basically. If they were to go 4-13 again next year, you think he would still be here after that? I don't know. Anyway, Lance says we won't know until Then, if this was the right hire, but early returns are shaky, he might be able to turn it around. Yeah, he might. Tom says, with all due respect, Saints fans rely on the media to provide information and insight. If Saints fans are delusional, it's not all their fault. Tom, I don't think anyone's gotten information from this show. And I know what you mean. I know you don't mean just the show. But I don't think one thing we pride ourselves in here is basing everything off of reality and common sense. This is the reality and common sense show. This isn't fanboy show, and this isn't doomsday show. Okay, we try to balance ourselves, and so even if you're watching the fanboy show or the doomsday show, it's on you to kind of look through the lines and figure out what common sense is, in my opinion. So I'm not chastising you or anything. Just saying, you should know by now what is common sense. What seems right, what seems wrong. You know? Ryan says he originally thought 5 to 6 wins. Still think we get to 4. Yeah, I think 4. I think 4 is yesterday was the one that we needed to get to 5. I don't know. We'll see. I think the Saints are gonna beat the Jets because I just don't think they're going to give a right. Although they look pretty decent yesterday, I just don't think the Jets will care at all by then. Maybe we'll see. You know, I think the Saints will care. I think the Saints are going to play to the last day, the last play. We'll see. The Titans just aren't good, and I think the Saints. So I think those are 2. That's 4. I think they'll win either 4 or 5. I don't think they'll win as few as 3. I think there's a better chance they win 5 than there is that they win 3. That's my opinion. Like Gabe says, Titans put up a fight yesterday. Yeah, it's not any good. I mean, and I'm not saying the Saints are good, but Titans are just bad. Although Cam Ward's playing a little bit better than he was before. Mark Gaps, yeah, I get it. You're being funny. Saints need to hire some wrong. Mm-hmm. Lance says trade down and get Jeremiah Love. Yeah, man, I tell you. Would love to get Arvell Reese and trade back up for Love, but that'll take draft magic, man. Saints need a Jeremiah Love, that's for sure. Absolutely. Let's see what else we got here. You know what I think about Dan Campbell, Brandon, but there is that part of Dan Campbell I definitely can appreciate. I think Dan Campbell's in-game coaching is not good, but his players love him. He's got fire, and you don't really get a whole lot of coach speak from him, do you? No, absolutely. All right, we're about to move on because I got to talk about LSU and Tulane a little bit and got to bring Gabe on and still talk about Monday Night Football. So I'm about to move on a little bit. Larry says Mickey is waiting for Gale out for ownership. That's what? Huh? Owner? You think Mickey Loomis is going to be the owner of the New Orleans Saints? Is that what you're trying to say? No. No. Just no. First of all, what is Gale? Like 76, 77, something like that? Gabe's going to look it up. But whatever she is, she's a young. I could see Gail Benson absolutely living well in turn. I mean, Virginia McCaskey didn't. She was 100 when she passed away. She's 78. I was close. I think I said 77 or 70. Not going anywhere anytime soon. Nobody's waiting around for Gail to die. That's what you're asking. And you don't. I'm just saying, you do not want. If you're a Saints fan, you can hate on Miss Gail all you want quietly, because if she goes. If she decides if she wants to sell, which I don't know why she would sell at her age, but they're moving. They're moving. You don't want that to happen. Mitch Bergeron. Pete Carroll hasn't been able to help the Raiders. Well, duh. You haven't been watching this show long enough. Boy, what a terrible hire that was. Having a proven successful coach doesn't always help. Proven successful coach. Pete Carroll is a dog. Pete Carroll made the worst decision in the history. I'm not exaggerating. The worst play call in the history of football, whether he made it or whether he approved it, it's on him. I've never been a Pete Carroll fan. I've always thought he was overrated. His team's made the Super Bowl. He got so lucky with the Legion of Boom. Let's face it. What happened when they were Pete Carroll thought bringing Geno Smith to Vegas was a good idea. Don't get me started on Pete Carroll. He is definitely on the list of top 10 most overrated coaches in the history of football. He's on my list. Absolutely up there. Daniel Maples, how about them Rebels? You Ole Miss fan, you? Glad you could be here. I think weren't you an Ole Miss fan? Or you're from Florida and you're Florida? I don't remember. But I know you're a new member of the Dat family. We appreciate you being here. Speaking of members of the Dat family, we welcome in Owen Attilio. He is not concerned about offensive play calling in the red zone. He agrees to stop putting Taysom in at quarterback in the red zone, put him back as a decoy. Here's look. I don't know how bad Alvin Kamara's hurt, and that's something we might talk about later in the week, but I could tell you one thing. If Alvin Kamara doesn't play anymore, or if he misses several games or whatever, they don't have a backup running back. It's kind of got to be Taysom. They're scouring the wire for the Justin Tuckers of the world. How about you go scour the wires for running backs that are sitting on practice squads or whatever? Because you need one or two. That's for damn sure. All right. I'm going to finish the show with Saints comments, but we got to move on and talk about a couple other things here this morning. Again, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about LSU. I did it. I said what I had to say in a short. If you missed it, please go check it out. It's on YouTube. It's on TikTok. It's on Facebook. By the way, I asked you to subscribe to my YouTube page. Please go find me on Facebook and follow me on Facebook as well. We're doing some things there. But what else can I say? The LSU Tigers sleptwalked through Saturday's game, didn't want to be there. The defense, well, I can't say that about the whole team because the defense played their asses off. I thought Blake Baker's game plan, look, it's Western Kentucky. I get it. But Western Kentucky has a decent offense. I kind of I thought they would score 17 points or whatever. And they only scored 10, and we know what 7 of those was. It was a fumble return from Harlan Berry at the end of the game. So I thought Blake Baker's crew did a really good job. But there isn't really anyone realistically who thinks Van Buren is the future of this team at quarterback, do we? You can't possibly think that anymore. So can we put that to bed? And LSU, whoever the next coach is, and another reason why it's going to be important to get the next LSU coach, find out who it is within the next week or so, because they need a quarterback in the transfer portal. Their early signing period is next week, I think. Or is it next week? Or Gabe, is it next week or the week after? Coming up. Oh, he's gonna look it up. I think it's next week. It's weird because it's November 24th and December is next week. I think it's the first week of December. So that would mean next week. So anyway, the offense was just non-existent. They can't run the ball, as Jim Moore said. We couldn't run the ball. We didn't try to run the ball. We couldn't throw the ball. Whenever we did try to run the ball, we couldn't do it. I mean, terrible. December the 3rd. The portal opens on January the 2nd. So stupid, by the way. I mean, can we move that crap back to after the national championship game? And Gabe's going to talk about that in a minute. Anyway, Charles says it was a great short. Anyway, my thoughts are condensed into a 3-minute short. It wasn't even 3 minutes, like 2 minutes and 20 seconds. It's short. It's on YouTube. It's on TikTok. It's on Facebook. Easily found. The LSU Tigers are 10-point underdogs going to Oklahoma. I don't get this. The total is 37.5. Way LSU's been playing, 10 points. That's it. I mean, I know they're LSU, and you don't want too many people to bet on, to take too many points in case LSU does show up. But so that's a projected score of basically 27-10. Or no, I guess my Shaw math is working against me again. Let's say 24-13. That's basically what that's saying. Somewhere around there. 23-13, 24-13, something like that. I mean, is that what we think the score is going to be of this game? I mean, it sounds maybe right for LSU, but can LSU score 13 points on Oklahoma? Not this offense. And Gabe was telling me before the game, I didn't see this, but Gabe told me he saw that it looks like Garrett Nussmeier right now is doubtful to play this weekend. And the last thing I'll say on LSU before we move on, again, we'll talk more about LSU on Wednesday. I don't know who my guest is yet, but I'm probably going to focus a lot more on LSU. Again, the Lane Kiffin stuff will heat up again as the week goes along. Does anybody really think it's going to make it till Saturday before we all found out? I don't. I don't think he can hold it in. I think Kiffin's like a little kid who knows what his brother's getting for Christmas, and he can't keep it to himself. I can't believe that secret's actually be held until Saturday. Ryan says, I didn't think the LSU offense could get worse. They may actually get shut out Saturday unless the defense scores. I mean, Tom says LSU was hard to watch. Yeah, they were hard to watch. Obviously, we want Kiffin chants. We're kind of cringe, very cringe. I'm like cringing just thinking about it right now. UBN says Nuss needs to sit. I think Nuss needs to play. That's my opinion. I absolutely want him to. This is the last thing I'm going to say on LSU before I move on. Tulane deserves some time in this morning. This is the last thing I'll say. You know what I want? Okay, let him sit in Oklahoma game. LSU goes to the Music City Bowl or whatever it is. You know what I want? And I know this won't happen. But I still want this. I want Nuss to play in a bowl game against, I don't know, let it be some team with a crappy D-line. Gabe, go find me some Big Ten team with a crappy defensive line that's mediocre. Minnesota. I don't know. Does Minnesota have a crappy D-line? I have no idea. Somebody like that with a crappy D-line that's not going to just barge in on Nussmeier and let Nussmeier finish his LSU career. The numbers are going down. They don't want to hear about Nussmeier. Northwestern. There you go. Perfect, Gabe. Let him play North. Tulane beat the ever-loving crap out of Northwestern. Let LSU play Northwestern. Nussmeier gets to finish his career. His final game is LSU for all his be loyal to Nussmeier. Let him throw for 400 and then stick the middle finger right up the haters' keisters. That's what they need to do. That's right. I got fired up. See, LSU didn't make me go to sleep. That's what I want to have. That's my dream. LSU Northwestern, the Music City Bowl. And then, you know what's even better? The Saints play at Tennessee on December the 28th or whatever the hell the date is. I don't know. Whatever it is, I know 2 days later, there's the Music City Bowl. Could you imagine the fun? I've already talked about, I'm definitely going. I am going to Nashville. I am going to do it. Saints, Titans, and then LSU Northwestern. I don't get no better than that. I'm going, baby. It's going to happen. We're going to report. We're going to do a podcast from Nashville. It's going to happen. If that happens, it's going to. If Nuss says he's playing in a bowl game and it's Saints, and then 2 days later, LSU, I'm going. It's going to happen. Well, I mean, you got better things going on for the Tulane Green Wave, who whipped up some host. Look, I didn't get a lot right this weekend, so I'm going to take pride in this. I stunk last week. I did say the Saints would lose. I did say, so I was 3-0 just against, 3-0 in the local picks, but my real pick stunk. I went 0-2-1. We don't count tie, so I went 0-2. Although I went 0-1-2 on game day because I actually bet one of my picks made it to 3 instead of 2.5. Anyway, I had 2 pushes yesterday. I don't remember the last time I had 2 pushes in the same day. But so I'm going to take pride in one of the things I got right. My predicted score of the Tulane Temple game was 39-13. It was 37-13. Remember Zach was giving me, when's the last time Tulane held someone to 13 points? Well, damn it, they held Temple to 13 points, and they look pretty good doing it. Gotta say, I watched a decent chunk of that game, and Tulane should have, I shouldn't say this, but Tulane should have no trouble winning this week. They're 30.5-point favorites against Charlotte, And then the real test comes in because they'll probably play North Texas at Yeoman Stadium. What is this? They'll play a week from this Friday. That's when that game would be. At Yeoman. They win those games, they're in the playoffs. I mean, I don't think it's 100% since James Madison beat Washington State, I think, this past weekend. Excuse me. It's not 100%, but I think it's, if that were to happen, it's probably 80%. We'll see what happens when the rankings come out this weekend. So the Wave deserving everything. Look, that's the Wave have come back from what I said. I don't think I said 0.0, but I think I said 0. Okay, I'm not going to say 0.0. I'm going to have to go find it because it's 0.5 about Tulane. Look, just saying. What will they do? Again, it's something else we'll talk about Wednesday. Maybe I'll try to let's have a guest on. Maybe we'll have 2 guests. I'm going to work on that. Again, I don't know who my guests are. Maybe I'll have an LSU and a Tulane guest on for Wednesday. And we'll save Saints Talk for Friday with our Pick'em crew. That sounds pretty good. So I'm going to work on that. We'll try to get an LSU guest for Wednesday and a Tulane guest. When's the last time we had 2 guests on besides our Pick'em? I don't know. We're going to work on that. All right. Let's move on. 121 in. Oh, well. We're running late again, Gabe. It is what it is.
That's okay.
Good morning.
Afternoon.
Oh, afternoon. Sorry, it's 12:22. It is what it is. How was your weekend, my friend? The Texans, we already talked about this because it was Thursday night football, but your Texans whipped up on the Buffalo Bills, and you're still flying high.
Yeah, 8 sacks. Colts lost too. Good
Colts
weekend.
lose. Jags win, though. They almost gave it away. That's what I wanted to bring up. What a moron your boy Duval is. Okay. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are going nowhere. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is absolutely. He's got to be the worst, highest. I mean, I don't even think he's the highest paid quarterback anymore, but he was. He's got to be the worst quarterback who was ever at some point the highest paid quarterback in the NFL in the history.
Was Kyler Murray the highest paid quarterback in the
I don't
NFL
think. I don't think he ever got there. But
Depends
I would
on when
take
his contract was
I would
signed,
take Kyler Murray over. That's how bad I think Trevor.
Did you
Lawrence
see Liam Cohen's reaction when Trevor Lawrence threw, I think, his third
Yes.
pick?
Yes.
He cut to him on the sideline. He was at a loss for words.
Did you see him after? Okay, so here's my thing with Liam Cohen. Duval, moron. It's 4th down. You're up by 3. Your defense has been fantastic. They haven't been able to do jack against your defense. One of their touchdowns was a defensive touchdown because Trevor Lawrence is an idiot. Okay, so it's 4th and 2. You got one of the best kickers in the NFL. It's 24-21. If you kick a field goal there, it's going to be 27-21, and you force the Cardinals to have to score a touchdown in 2 minutes to beat you. They're not going to score a touchdown to beat you. So what do you do on 4th and 2? You go for it. And then you get all pissed off at Trevor Lawrence when they don't get it because anybody could have predicted that they weren't going to get it. And I wasn't just mad because they would have kicked the field goal. I win. Don't ever let me bet on Trevor. Here's yesterday. I should have known that I was a moron yesterday when I picked in my best bets of the week. I picked Mason Rudolph, I picked Trevor Lawrence, and I picked JJ McCarthy. What crack pipe was I smoking when I made those 3 picks together? I don't know, but don't ever let me do that again.
Friends don't let other friends bet on JJ McCarthy. I saw a stat earlier
right.
On the Everything app. JJ McCarthy, in terms of EPA per play for quarterbacks, he is now ranked 851st of 852 qualified quarterbacks. The only person with a worse EPA per play was Jamarcus Russell.
Oh, Jamarcus ate his way out of the NFL. Oh, boy. Roy Steyer says, Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, Roy. All right.
I can't say anything. I can't say anything about Liam Cohen and that decision because I thought going for it was the right decision. I just think it was a bad play call.
Decision.
I think
it was definitely a bad play call. But it was a terrible decision. They're not scoring a touchdown there. You kick a field goal, the game is basically over. So anyway, it depends on who you are.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you never go for it in that situation. I'm just saying in
their
that situation,
also, their defense didn't look great yesterday.
They were pretty good.
Sliced and diced them up the field.
Slicing, I don't know, man. I might have.
Yeah, they were. The defense wasn't great.
Man. Jacoby Brissett was. Jesus, how many passes is that guy going to throw? He was 33 of 49. He threw for 317 yards. Okay. That's not terrible.
Yeah, no, they didn't look great yesterday defensively. So that's why I completely get it.
Oh, I still think you.
No, Lance, no one thought drafting J.J. McCarthy was smart.
Yeah, no. All right, what you got for me today as we we get to Monday night? Before we get to Monday Night Football, yeah, I know you got to have something good.
Well, yeah, I wanted to. We can kind of go in any direction after this, but I did want to talk about the transfer portal. There is one huge hurdle with the transfer portal, in changing those dates is you have to have a transfer portal that allows students to enroll at said school before the semester. That's the thing. That's why they have it when they do.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Then,
so it's horrible. It's horrible the way they do it. They're just
really,
between a
you're
rock
right.
and a hard
I never really thought about that. You're right.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Still got to find.
They've got to change
a better way to do it.
But yeah,
they just got to find a better way to do it. I mean,
yeah.
Why they have to be enrolled in the school the semester
before
before
the semester starts, because you have to be put into classes and everything.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if you wanted to transfer, why couldn't you just transfer in the summer and just go to school to see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, why do you have to go to that school in the spring?
Give them time for spring practice.
They don't give a rat's ass.
I don't know.
It's certainly
because there's another
academics.
Isn't there a mini transfer portal during or after spring practice as well?
There is another mini. That's what I'm saying. So why don't you just have that one? I don't know. Or why don't you just open it up to say they can transfer whenever they want? I mean, after a certain time.
Well, because then it becomes a free for all, and there's going to be
still
a bunch
a free for all.
I know it is, but there's going to be a bunch of tampering, and I don't know.
Lance
I will say
O'Connell. I like O'Connell too.
I like O'Connell as well. I think he's an excellent.
I think O'Connell's a great coach.
Yeah.
All right. Let's wrap this up because I want to get to Monday Night Football, and tonight's game is interesting. Again, the Panthers are tied for the lead in the NFC South. Tampa Bay has fallen off the map. We don't know what the deal is with Baker. Have you seen any updates on Baker and how hurt he is?
He's getting an MRI today, but they're saying it's a sprained AC joint. They haven't ruled him out for Sunday.
Anybody knows? And by the way, Sandra says the transfer portal is the destruction of college football. It's no longer student extracurricular activity. Look,
it's a bit hyperbolic.
I don't think so. You know what I think about? But that being said, they had no choice. They had to do it because they're morons. They brought this upon themselves. So while I agree that I can't stand the transfer portal and I can't stand NIL, those two things both brought upon themselves by the NCAA, and they deserve everything they get.
Players have always been able to transfer for what it's worth.
They had to have reasons. You couldn't just transfer like now.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow transferred. Didn't have a reason. Danny Etling transferred.
Yeah, but he also had to sit out a year, didn't he? I don't know.
Danny Etling? No, I don't believe so.
They're not Etling. I don't know. What's the rule? Anyway.
No, Burrow didn't have to sit out a year.
All right. Well,
but I do have one more thing in college I want to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll tell you the real destruction of college football. Diego Pavia. Why the hell are we talking about this guy in the Heisman conversation? He's 24 years old. He's going out there. Did you see him on the sideline?
You hate old college football players.
No, it can't. I just can't stand it.
If they're over the age of 22, you can't stand that they're playing college football.
He's in his seventh year, and he's suing for more time.
You in the seventh year, crap.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that annoys me. Okay, did you see him talking about?
I wonder why you don't like Tyler Shock.
Did you see him talking about? Well, I've never thought he was all that great. I thought he had an interception problem in college. Did you see Diego Pavia's quote about the Miami Dolphins?
I did not.
He was talking about his tight end, and he was saying the Miami Dolphins have 2 first-round picks, so they can pick our tight end with their first one, and then after I win the Heisman, they'll be forced to take me with their other first-round pick.
Wow.
What the hell are we doing, dude? And then he's got. Have you seen the way his family acts in the stands? Did you see him? Did you see the clip of his mom?
No.
This is a woman in her 40s and 50s.
I'm paying attention to that.
Her,
I think I'm watching Vanderbilt, meaningless Vanderbilt games. No
one's watching Vanderbilt games. Well, and then they cut to Diego Pavia on the sideline. They're up 45-3, and he is pleading with Clark Lee to go back in the game. So what? You can throw your 27th touchdown pass of the season.
You're a hater, man. You're a hater.
I can't say there's a difference between arrogance and confidence. He's arrogant as hell. He's not that good. He really isn't.
Yeah, he's all right. He's not going to be an NFL
all right.
player.
He's
not Baker.
He should not be anywhere near the Heisman conversation.
He's not Baker.
Okay, let me ask you this: how many touchdown passes do you think Bryce Young threw in his Heisman season?
I'm going to this is going to be a guess.
Yeah, just guess.
24.
47.
Oh, shit, I didn't know.
Diego Pavia has 26 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, but
that's not a Heisman player, Jim.
I know, but look, who has, what's his name? Mendoza. He only has like 2,800 yards passing, right?
Well, so does Pavia.
Okay, but my point is, last year you can't. It's hard to compare something that happened before because Nussmeier had 4,000 yards passing last year. So
Fernando Mendoza has 30 touchdowns, by the way.
Okay, how many passing yards does he have?
26-41.
He's got 26-41. So he's going to end up with, well, he might play extra playoff games, so I don't know. But Nussmeier played in 13 games last year and threw for over 4,000 yards. Okay, so Mendoza through 13 games is probably going to throw somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,100 yards. So I just don't like comparing stuff that happened in the past to what. But I hear what you're saying.
No, I get it.
By the way, real quick, Brian is right. Brian S. Steve is right that Burrow didn't sit out because he already graduated. There's an exception, and he did. He graduated from Ohio State in 2017 and then graduated again in 2020 from LSU. That's pretty impressive.
All right. To answer Randall's question, he said, what do I think about the Ohio State safety, Caleb Downs being a higher draft pick? I think Caleb Downs is the best player in this upcoming draft.
We've said that already.
For years. Yeah. Caleb Downs is phenomenal.
And he will be probably a top 3 pick. Or
I don't think Vandy goes 10-2. I think they lose to Tennessee.
All right, Monday Night Football. We talked about it. Panthers and Niners. Panthers are a 7.5-point favorite. Total of 49.5. You got any thoughts on tonight's game? I know the last few primetime ones, you haven't really had an official pick. Do you have one on this one?
No, I don't feel too great about this. So not really a pick. I would lean the over. San Francisco is the league's best over team. Carolina, I believe, is 6-4 to the over as well. And when I consulted my resident 49ers expert, he liked the over as well.
UBN?
Yeah, I texted UBN a few minutes ago. See if you had a thought on this game.
I'm not touching that total with a stick. And you know me, I've been doing pretty well lately with unders. If you forced me to take a total, I would probably take the under, but I'm not betting it at all. That being said, I don't know if you would call this an official pick. It's a pick I'm going to make, but I'm probably only going to bet like a half a unit on it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take the Panthers plus 7.5. And look, this is a perfect, people still think the Panthers are absolutely terrible. They're not absolutely terrible. I think they're average. I think they're an average team, but honestly, just because Purdy's back and I was all over the Niners, and I know that they've been better, and everybody's going to jump on them and think that they're the bandwagon team right now to jump on. I think they're going to have a tough game on there. I do think that the Niners win this game, but I don't think they cover the 7.5. If it were just 7, I would just completely stay away from it. But at 7.5, I'm going to take the Panthers and press my luck a little bit. I will put a couple bucks on it. It was funny because I was literally in the bets that I made this weekend, dead even. I had 2 pushes and a loss and a win, and the loss and a win were for the same, exactly the same amount.
I believe 2 of my futures hit. I hit on Illinois under 8.5 wins on the season and Colorado under 4.5.
Yeah. So Roy wants to know what our opinions are on college players basically wearing shorts now. I don't like those pants either. There is no rule that I don't think you have to have pads in the knee. I think I
I
think
don't care what other people wear.
Yeah, it does matter to me a little bit. I hate that all the pants do come up to like the thighs now, but there's no rule that says if you want to expose your knee, you're the idiot that's going to expose your knee. I mean, I've always been one like safety protocol. If you want to go out there and do something stupid, I think if you want to ride a motorbike without a helmet on, you should be able to ride a motorbike without a helmet on. It's your head. I mean, if you want to ride in a car without wearing a seatbelt, you should be able to ride in a car without a seatbelt. Now, you shouldn't be able to let your kids ride in a car without a seatbelt and stuff like that. But if you particularly, anyway,
No, Ryan, Panthers would not be the worst.
And I'm gonna before I let you go, I will throw this up there because Lance. At what point can you say the T word? You could say it anytime you want, just not on this show. There is never an acceptable time to lose on purpose, and I mean ever, never, ever.
Jim, cue the breaking news. Breaking news, according to ESPN, Shedeur Sanders has been named the Brown quarterback despite Dylan Gabriel clearing concussion protocol.
Okay, Shedeur lovers. Boy, we're going to see what they do against. Speaking of the 49ers, that spread be. Although it is in Cleveland, so it probably won't be ridiculous. It'll probably be like 9.5. That's my prediction, 9.5. You know how many people are going to bet on Cleveland next week? You see, now you took them a week too early. You bet against Shedeur a week too early. I'm giving a spoiler alert. There's a really good chance. If it's less than 10, if it's a single digit, I'm probably going to take San Francisco next week.
Counterpoint.
Counterpoint.
Myles Garrett is having the best individual defensive season we've probably ever seen.
That dude's ridiculous.
Have you seen his sack numbers?
He's ridiculous. Yeah, I have.
You know what the record is, right?
Yeah, he needs less than one a game.
Yeah, the record is 22.5. He's at 18.
Yeah, he's absurd.
Unreal.
And look, one thing, Myles Garrett, when he breaks this record, he's not going to need Brett Favre to like part the Red Sea to and go down on purpose for the record to be broken. He's going to legitimately shatter the record on his own.
I was watching Geno Smith the other day. His pocket awareness is even worse than Shedeur's. It was bad. Geno Smith, I have no idea why they kept him in the game that long. I really don't.
Well, we talked about it the other day. You thought you were going to see Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, I thought we were going to see Aiden O'Connell. You should have seen Aiden O'Connell.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. All right. Speaking of shoulda, woulda, coulda, I should have seen you Wednesday. I'm actually going to see you Wednesday unless you just don't show up. Oh, you're going to bring are you cooking the turkey or the stuffing?
Neither.
Damn it. I thought we were going to have virtual Thanksgiving.
I'm making some blackened chicken, actually.
All right. Well, I thought we were going to have Thanksgiving dinner on the show on Wednesday. I guess not. All right. See you then.
All righty. Sounds good.
Gabe Henderson, everybody. Yeah, I mean, we should have Thanksgiving. Should we all have Thanksgiving dinner together on the show? Justice for Shedeur, who that daddy says. Justice for what? I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm telling you. I y'all know I keep it real on this show. This is as real as I can get. He wasn't good yesterday. He wasn't good. Did y'all watch that game? And I know it's hard to watch because you have to have the ticket to watch it. And most of you probably don't have the Red Zone channel. He wasn't good. His numbers aren't good. He wasn't good. If you take away the 66-yard screen pass touchdown, it wasn't a touchdown pass. It was a screen pass. It was basically a glorified run. And I'll go back to it real quick before I go off. And I'm not trying to be mean. I promise. I'm not. But people who think, there are actually people out there who still think that he's going to be good. What are you going to say? I'm telling you right now, he's going to get his ass waxed by the 49ers. And if he does, I'll have every apology on the. It won't come up now. It's like the football guys don't want me to call it up. But he had something like 204 yards. So he basically had 150, 160 yards of passing if you take the one screen pass out. 66-yard screen pass. He wasn't good. He's not good. And I wish we would just stop talking. Why do we keep bringing up? Like, find things to latch on. We latch on these mediocre players who people think should. Why do people love this dude so much? I don't get it. Give him a chance. He's going to get a chance. He's going to get a chance. He had 206, so he would have minus 66. My limited Shaw math skills. That's 140. He would have had 140 yard passing if Dylan Sampson drops that pass. And he probably would have had a little bit more than that, because if he drops the pass, then he probably throws another one. But you know what I mean. He's 140 yards outside of that one pass and no touchdowns, an interception. He wasn't good yesterday. You give him a chance, sure, give him a chance. Breaking, you know how it goes. Gabe saying JJ McCarthy is in concussion protocol. Who the hell is Max Brosmer? Max Bro. He's a bro. Brosmer, whatever the hell his name is in line to start against the Seahawks. I got to be honest, I have no idea who the hell that is. So I don't care who the hell that is either. Should I give him a chance too? Who that, Daddy? Again, I'm just being straight up. I know sometimes I don't like when I'm straight up, especially if y'all have an opinion that's different than mine. You know. And if you don't like that, well, then you won't like when I say this. I'm gonna throw this out there again for the regulars who are still watching. Tomorrow, I said this in the beginning of the show. If you missed it, I am going to be guest hosting Eric Asher's Inside New Orleans show on 106.7 The Ticket. If you don't live in the New Orleans area, you can still get it online. I will tweet out how, so you can find it on X at Jim Derry Jr. Check that out. 4 to 6 p.m. tomorrow. I will be, again, guest hosting. Sean Fazan and Mike Scarborough, my guests. So Sean Fazan, probably going to spend most of my time with Sean talking about the Saints and maybe a little bit Pelicans. Mike Scarborough is going to be all LSU. So that's what we'll be talking about tomorrow. The first half of each hour will be just me. So 4 to 4:30 is just me. 4:30 to 5, it'll be Sean Fazan. 5 to 5:30, just me. And then 5:30 to 6 will be Mike Scarborough from Tiger Bait or Tiger Rag. Tiger Bait or Tiger? I forget. I'm sorry. I should know this. I should have typed it in. You know what I mean. Anyway, so 504-260-1067 is going to be the number. Please feel free. Any of my regulars, I would love for you to call into the show and we can actually talk to one another. So call in between 4 and 4:30 or 5 and 5:30. If you want to call in, we will take your call and we can actually talk to one another. Ryan says he catches about 25 minutes of that show each day when he picks his kid up from daycare. Well, there you go. Chance to call in, Ryan. Again, 504-260-106.7. That is going to wrap it up for us on. We had some breaking news today. UBN's going to call in. Okay, you can call in, UBN. We'll take the call. Tiger Rag, Gabe Henderson says, thank you. I'm sorry. I'll have all this typed in so I don't screw it up on the air tomorrow, I promise. Going to wrap it up for us on this Mano E Monday. I want to thank today's guest, Gabe Henderson, and you. Not just our guest, you're our family. I don't know who Wednesday's guests are. You can see it on the screen. Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time, we will have Thanksgiving lunch together. How's that? Okay, whatever. Virtually, you know what I mean. And then we are doing a show on Friday at 11 a.m. We're also going to do a show. I hope it's not super loud in my house. We're having Thanksgiving here as we do each year. I don't know who the hell's going to be in my house Friday afternoon, Friday morning, Friday afternoon. So maybe I'll have one of them come on and say hi. Who knows? Happy Thanksgiving. Reminder to subscribe to our Dattitude YouTube page. Click the little bell to receive notifications when we go on the air live. You can also find me on X at Jim Derry Jr. and go find me on Facebook. A Facebook page is doing really well. Again, our shorts, they are rolling. We had the short I did after the LSU game. It got over, combined between YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook, over 15,000 views. Who that, Daddy? You're right, man. Everybody keep our heads up. 100%. I'm telling you, we got positives. We got positives. Kyle Sherman, great show. Thank you. Lance, did I go live from the presser yesterday? I did. Weren't you coming? I thought you were. Somebody was. 8-Town wants to know who's wearing a turkey suit. I'll have to find my turkey hat. Gabe, you still got your turkey hat? Yeah, you do. You're lying. He says no. I'll bring my turkey hat if I can find it. I think it's in here somewhere. My kids actually took it last Thanksgiving. We used to do on the Bayou Bet show, if you were the turkey of the week and you had the worst week, you had to wear the turkey hat. We need to bring that back, Gabe. Can you see UBN wearing a turkey hat? He'd wear it every damn week. Be awesome. You had to wear, if you were the worst picker of the week, the next week, you had to wear the turkey hat the entire pick'em segment. We got to do that again. That's going to be fun. You can also find us wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple, Spotify, and many more. You know where to find us. You know how to find the replays. If you've missed any part of the show, you can go back and find it on YouTube again. And we're on Facebook as well. You know how to find us. I don't know. I've had enough. I've got to go eat some lunch. I've got to do post-production here. If you want to, I've asked this. I'm talking to some potential sponsors this week. I never threw this out there until now. I guess I should have done it before now. But if you're interested in sponsoring, please, Jim@jimderry.com. Get on the train now. I am not just saying this. I'm telling you. It's incredible. It's incredible how much better we're doing since we don't have the former employer wrapped up in their business anymore. Now, obviously, we don't have their Facebook platform's numbers, but our numbers on all of our other pages are through the roof. Our shorts are probably 10xing what we were doing before. So we're only going to continue to grow. You need to jump on the sponsorship. I'm not just saying this. You need to jump on the sponsorship train now. If you know someone who wants to do it, tell them to reach out to me, Jim@jimderry.com, because I have a price sheet. I put it together last week. I don't want to just talk about it on the air, but I have a pricing sheet, and those prices are valid through the end of this calendar year. In 2026, I'm telling you, as we take off through the rest of this year and into next year, those prices are going to go up. And people I'm going to try to limit it to 10. We'll see what happens. But now's the time to jump on sponsorship at the show. I'm telling you. Be a part of it. I want you to be a part of it more than just you are now. I'm actually going to probably open up YouTube to thinking about it. I don't know that I'm 100% going to do it. We're probably going to open up to super chats and stuff like that. We'll see how it is. See how it goes. All right. That will do it. And I know you'll want to hear the outro song as we go out. So I want everyone, if for some reason you can't join us on Wednesday, be here Wednesday at 11 a.m. But if you can't, we hope everyone has a fantastic Thanksgiving. We'll see you at the end of the week. Lots to talk about again. Wednesday is going to be a whole lot of LSU and probably more the Tulane than we've been, and maybe even dive into the Pelicans a little bit. Again, if you can join me on the show, on the radio show on Inside New Orleans tomorrow, 106.7, 4 to 6. Would love to hear you there. And if not, we will see you on Wednesday. Everyone, until then, take it easy, my friends.